Hey everyone, this is Jono Bacon. Now, are you trying to make some kind of change in your life, whether it's losing weight or boozing less or becoming more responsive at email, and you're sick of all of that motivational speaker, self-help guru fluff? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a really practical 5-step approach for how to build healthy new habits. And importantly, my methodology here is going to help to protect you from your stupid brain, who is almost certainly going to try and screw it up for you. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, welcome everybody. I hope you're all safe and well. Now, many of us are trying to make changes in our lives. You know, maybe we want to exercise more, spend more time with our families, with our friends. The tricky thing is that often when we start looking into how to build these new habits, we're often confronted with these insufferable bastards who only ever go on about inspiration and transformation as the solution. You know the kind of people I'm talking about. If you want to tap into the inner pure fire of your own potential, you need to enact a true transformation. Okay, thank you, but how do I do that? How do we get started with that? The key, Jono, is discipline. It's digging deep, plowing low. It's wrestling your demon of the past to the ground and planting the flag of the future in his eyes. Okay, well, thank you for whatever that was. So yeah, I'll take that on board and I'll get back to you. Yeah. No. I'll get back to you. I've got kind of a busy week coming up. Yeah. No. I got to wash my hair and everything. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I'll be in touch. Okay. Bye. You see, the problem I have with those kinds of people is that they downplay how difficult it is to build habits. You know, we all fall off the horse. We all give up. And sometimes we question whether we can even achieve these habits in the first place. Now, the important thing to remember is that, from my research at least, it takes 66 days to build a habit, so 2 months in round numbers. So as I walk through this methodology and as you're figuring out what your habit's going to be, always keep reminding yourself that it's just 2 months. That's how long you've got to stick at it for. And when we can insulate that 2-month period from the risks and the roadblocks that we might face, that's how we become successful. All right, so let's start with step 1 of 5, and this is where you choose your goal. What do you want to see as the outcome at the end of that 2-month period? The key thing is that you've got to have a crisp goal in mind, and that goal has got to be both measurable and doable. So for example, if you want to be more responsive with your email, maybe your goal could be hitting inbox 0 every day. Now that's measurable, which is great, but it doesn't sound very doable. Instead, I'd focus on hitting inbox 0 maybe twice a week. Let's say your goal is losing weight and therefore you want to do an hour's worth of exercise every day. That's measurable, but again, doesn't sound particularly doable to me. I would much rather focus on doing 30 minutes of exercise 3 times a week. You see, the first mistake most people make when they're forming new habits is that they're all psyched up about changing their lives, so they pick these big, ambitious habits. All the self-help gurus encourage you to do that. But sometimes the habit is so big that you can never get started. It's much better to start small and then maybe have a different habit later on to amp it up. Now, when you figured out what you want to do in that 2-month period, there's 2 other things I want you to think about. One is going to be which are your on days and which are your off days. For example, if we're going to be trying to get more responsive at responding to emails, then maybe our on days are weekdays when we're at work, and at weekends, we're off the clock. It's important here to think about the reality of your week, when you're at work, when you're with your family, when you're doing your hobbies, and make sure that your off days are designed around them. I also want you to choose at least 1, but no more than 2 cheat days. No, you can't have 4 cheat days. I'm a little bit offended that you even suggested that. Who the hell do you think I am? You see, throughout that 2-month period, you always want to stick to the plan. But sometimes things crop up. You have a bad day at work or maybe some personal issues to deal with. That's why we have the cheat days. It's where you can still stick to the plan because we've already factored in taking a day off. So that leads us to our second step, and that's mapping out the bumps in the road. You see, the biggest enemy that you're going to have throughout building a habit is your stupid brain. Your brain is going to be constantly saying things like, "Who do you think you are? There's no way you can do this. Oh, God, I'm so tired. Can we just do this tomorrow? Oh, Look at you thinking you can do these kinds of things like some kind of fancy pants entrepreneur. You just remember your place. Now your brain is going to try some of these dirty tactics, and the solution here is that we preempt them and we block them. So what I want you to do is think of two things. What are the likely roadblocks that you're going to experience in this 2-month period? And what are the likely excuses? So the roadblocks are going to be things such as, I just don't feel like I've got time to do this today. Now the simple solution to that is that you just block off time in your calendar so you know you've got time for your habit. Another roadblock could be not having the equipment to hand, such as exercise gear in your office. Well, a solution to that will be buying some additional cheap exercise gear that you can have in your desk. Another very common roadblock is temptation. Let's say you're trying to lose weight and you're like, oh God, there's chocolate in the cupboard. Well, if you know you're going to experience that temptation, just make sure you don't have any chocolate in the house. That's what we do. Well, apart from my secret stash, of course. Shh. The important thing is to think about these roadblocks now and then to plan for when they happen. And then this leads us on to the excuses side of the deal. Now your stupid brain is going to throw all kinds of excuses at you. I can't do it, it's too hard, I'm not built for this. But if you know your brain is going to do that, then you can say to yourself, I was always expecting this, I'm going to ignore it and stick to my habit. What might sound weird here is just knowing this is going to happen can often help significantly in being able to ignore it and stick to the plan. So this leads us to our third step, and this is creating a place to track your progress. So at this point, you've got a goal in mind, it's measurable, it's doable, you've figured out what some of the roadblocks are going to be, you're good to go. Now what you need to do is have a place to track your progress every day. Now there's lots of different options here, such as habit tracking apps, such as Habit Share or Streaks or Habit Ball or Productive Habit Tracker. Many of these apps are completely free or very, very cheap to buy, and they can help significantly in easing how you track your habit. Another option here could be using something such as Google Spreadsheets or Excel, where you can create your own habit tracker or you can download a template. I'm actually going to link in the video description below to a template that I found on the internet that I think works really well. The key thing is that whichever tool you use, ideally have one that can visualize your progress, some kind of graph that shows you your target goal and how far along it you are. The key thing here is that it should only take you about 10 seconds every day to log that you've tracked your habit, but then you can see your progress evolving. You see, the way human beings are wired up is that when we can see progress being made, when we can see the graph going up and to the right, we know we're on the right track, and that gives us the confidence to keep going. Remember, the first week of this is going to be relatively smooth sailing, the second week is going to get a bit more complicated, and by the time you get to the third week, it's going to be difficult, right? And this is when your stupid brain is going to be constantly saying, you can't do it, it's too difficult, just give up. This is when you repeatedly look at your habit tracking app or spreadsheet or whatever you're using, and you can see the progress that you're making, and that will give you the confidence to continue. Now, step 4 is that you do something every day. So for example, if you want to exercise 3 days a week for 30 minutes each session, then try to stick to 3 days a week, 30 minutes for each session. Now, when you have one of those days and it's difficult and you just don't feel like it, that's when you use your cheat days. But there are going to be days when life just gets in the way. You know, for example, maybe you're at a conference and your habit is being more responsive to email and you just don't have time to sit down and do your email. Or maybe you have all of your family over for Christmas or Hanukkah or Thanksgiving or whatever, and they stay really late and you don't have time to go and exercise, which is your habit. Now, in these kinds of situations, typically we'll say, screw it, I'll just do it tomorrow. But don't do that. Do something every day. So let's say your goal is to work out for 30 minutes and you don't have time because you're at a conference. Go back to your hotel room and spend 5 minutes doing press-ups. While it might not be your full 30 minutes, you know that you did something, and that's really important in building your continued confidence that you can crack it and build that habit. I can't tell you how many times when I've been building a habit and I've just laid in bed on my phone, spending 5 minutes doing something to chip away at it. Just to underline it, always do something. Now, what I also want you to do is to calculate what percentage you achieved your goals each week. So for example, if your goal is to exercise 3 days a week and you only manage to exercise 2 days a week, then you hit 66% of your goal. But bear in mind, if you used one of your cheat days for that third day, then your percentage would be 100% because we factor in the cheat day. Now, your aim here should be hitting at least 80% each week, but ideally 100%. The reason why this is really important is that seeing those high percentage levels is going to A, help you to stick to your goal, but B, when you see it happening every week, it continues to build your confidence in yourself that you can stick to your habit for the duration of the 2-month period. As you can tell, so much of this is about confidence and about building belief in yourself, which all of the gurus and the motivational speakers talk about. But what I think is critical is that we focus on a practical framework for measuring this so we can actually put it into action. And then finally, step 5, and this is a difficult one, is to quit your excuses. You see, the only person that can do this is you. I can't come to your house and build your habit for you. You are the only person who can do it. Now, is it going to be hard? Yeah. But you know what? The most important things in life, the most rewarding things in life are hard. Now, this is where we do swerve a little bit into that motivational speaker and self-help territory, because I do think that inspiring yourself and having the confidence in doing this is really important. But importantly, what we've covered in this methodology is practical things that you can do to preempt those excuses, to prepare for those roadblocks, and to track your progress to keep you confident that you can actually break through that. But sometimes you are going to be laid in bed at night or in the shower and you're going to be questioning whether you can do this, and whether you need to go for a drive or go and stare at the ocean or go down the pub or whatever it might be. Get yourself out of your normal environment and just say to yourself, stop your bloody excuses. You can do this. This isn't rocket science, it's just discipline, and we can all do this. So anyway, there we have it. I hope that was useful. I hope that provides you with a really practical set of steps that you can focus on. If you've got any questions, be sure to pop them into the comments. I read all of the comments. I try to respond to as many of my YouTube comments as possible. And of course, if you like this video, give this video a bit of a like. I really appreciate that. And of course, tap that subscribe button. And then finally, if that wasn't enough homework for you, tap that cheeky little notification bell to stay up to date with future videos. All right, folks, good luck. Peace out, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.